Greetings in the name of the Most High Jah Rastafari. This is the girl Jen, Sister Jenny, Auntie Jenny. And if you want to get formal, it's Miss Jennifer Frederick, another edition on Let We Talk the Ting Unfiltered on Bounce Up Central, the platform for we, created by we. So people, log on, tune in, like and subscribe to Bounce Up Central. And of course, love and share on Let We Talk the Ting page. Share it. If you like the information, just don't keep it to yourself. So people, another week has started again. We're in the month of August, just now it's Independence, just now it's Republic, just now will be my birthday, just now it's New Year's. Listen, time and tide waits for no one, but I like to wait on my peeps. We have a big show today, people. So tune in, locked on. But we have a program, so we start this thing, right? We can't start without the anthem. They could say what they want, that is our national anthem. And the pledge, it is our pledge. America just had a pledge, just put a hand all on the heart, all kind of thing, tears running down the eyes, not running down the nose for the anthem. So, hey, who is we? Yeah? And we all up in America, boom, see, right now. So why we can't love we one thing and love we thing too? And people, happy World Steel Pan Day. Today, we come into that. We have to love up the culture, love up ways we want, and don't forget we history. So let me start this thing now, man. And our pledge.
I solemnly pledge to dedicate my life to the service of my God and my country. I will honor my parents, my teachers, my leaders, and my elders, and those in authority. I will be clean and honest in all my thoughts, my words, and my deeds. I will strive in everything I do to work together with my fellow men of every creed and race for the greater happiness of all and the honor and glory of my country.
And we must pay respect always to our elders and the first peoples of Trinidad and Tobago. Yeah. I don't know, we have a little good news thing, whether historical, whether current, it doesn't matter, but something to make you feel good, something to educate you, something to make you say, So people look at this, I love dance, right? So look at this.
Zimbabwe, Zambia, Malawi, Mozambique. Mozambique, South Africa, Botswana, Namibia, Angola, Lesotho, Eswatini, Madagascar, Mauritius, Seychelles, Comoros, Kenya, Tanzania, Uganda, Ethiopia, Rwanda, Burundi, Somalia, Djibouti, Eritrea, South Sudan, Nigeria, Ghana, Senegal, Ivory Coast, Mali, Niger, Burkina Faso, Benin, Togo, Guinea, Sierra Leone, Liberia, Gambia, Cape Verde, Guinea-Bissau, DR Congo, Republic of Congo, Cameroon, Gabon, Central African Republic, Chad.
All people love the beat. If it's like Moroccan Tate, watch my land. If I could have visited all them countries in the continent of Africa and learned the dance right there with them, Mama Africa. No, only I did not know that this was a thing, this coming out from Arima. I really didn't know. So big up to all the people who does be involved in that because I didn't know. Watch this. Now, people, what that is bird watching, and they're watching who birds singing. So the judging and all kind of, listen to me now. I didn't know that was exist, but it seems as attract young people. I see some young people that even Rasta man and thing they do. So people, the next time I hear they have that, I going to listen to them bird and them sing and see how they just judge it and all that. I didn't know anything about it, but here what people like, anything to keep them on the right path, keep the scene cool and everything, and they enjoy doing it. It's fun, it's safe. I all said bird watching, I remember who bird could sing. Sweeter must be than an ex, I don't know. All it was just to did feel when you hit 30 and 40, that is it. Look at these netballers to Trinidad to be over 40, come out of retirement and win goal. We're not easy, we're not easy, we just have it. Look at this.
And then everything that I think of, greatness is what we are break up. It was electric. Surreal. I haven't played for 10 years. So I just wanted to be a legend for my daughters, for the kids who are coached, for my community, to be an inspiration for them, to let them know that country girls could do it no matter what, especially at 40 years.
Exciting. Epic. Exciting. Phenomenal. It's been a very long road back. I gave up a lot to come out of retirement for my country, and I'm just really emotional right now because very few persons know what I went through. This one is for God and my family who brought me back from literally nothing. So when you go hard, I don't even know, boy, but for country, boy, for country. privilege. Overwhelming. No words to describe tonight's game. None at all. I'm just grateful to be here.
Yeah, so give it up to our girls. And hear what they said. One said it took so long for her to come back. And if people know her journey, and she thank God and she thank her family. Yeah, that's the pride we have, and the representing, a privilege to represent Trinidad and Tobago. Big up to the netballers and them boy, and all sportsmen and women who are there fighting hard for us to have a good image outside, they boy, willing to represent this country. We have to always thank them because it's not easy. I'm seeing up in San Fernando, Mayor Paris has a children's camp that he has been doing for years, and I took a little peek, like the Macos. So let me show you all what's going on. Big up there to Mayor Robert Paris, Mayor San Fernando, always looking out for the young ones. I have to bring all there some other information when it comes to the workers who were fired from CPEP and how he has found a way to hire some of them, and they back cleaning up communities and up in San Fernando and keeping the place clean. So again, Mayor Robert Paris, San Fernando, thanks for holding it together. Thanks for looking out for the young ones, right? And all those who are locked on today, I see Cheryl and Sarah, Vernie, Augusto, Kim, Emmeline. Thank you all as usual for that support. I'm also seeing Cheryl, Pat, Sherlyn, Charles Chris, my whole family as the Point Commander, Sharon, they up there too. So people, thank you all as usual for the support. We continue the thing. I saw this also and it warmed my heart. And what all you think?
Alright guys, already remember that yesterday, come and paved the road here for the school and thing, and order a dozen bags to finish out the longer side there, right? As you can see, the rest of the bag that it had, it didn't complete the entire task. So I come here, I order next dozen, and we go and finish it out completely.
From the moment that I wake up till I lay my head, oh, I will sing of the goodness of God.
But this is working water.
'Cause all my life you have been faithful. And all my life you have been so good. With every breath that I am able, oh, I will sing of the goodness of God.
I told you I finished. This hole was so large, it took about 10 bags. I exhausted, right? You come, I finish, right? Shout out to the Easy Street Solution. I come, I make my order, get it the same day, and I say, you know what, boy, whatever you put your mind to it, you will do it, right? Tired. Watch this road. Just get back to the community, you know. Doesn't know how hard it has been. This thing is not easy, you know. It really not easy. It's not easy. But at least the children them gonna be happy. You understand? Cars and them going no problems anymore. I guess how big the hole is. And here God is the greatest. I'm real tired, but I'm real tired. Oh yes. Tired.
Big up to that youth who see it fit to give back to his community, especially in times like this, and helping in his way, paving the road. Much thanks, youth. Big up as materials. Chan was amongst a formidable group of artists who got their early start and exhibition opportunities through the Southern Art Society with stage exhibitions at the Naprima Bowl and other venues throughout South Trinidad. He developed close connections with Southern-based artists, including Ralph Barney and Sonilal Rambesoon, and exhibited regularly with the society, continuing to participate until 1985 in one-man and group show alongside artists including Barney Alexis Bailey, Jill Spran, Samuel Ishkat, and brothers Fergus Griffith. The society provided an important platform for the artists outside Port of Spain and helped foster a vibrant artistic community in South Trinidad. His best known artistic work was Solar Marinorama, a massive 40-foot by 14-foot abstract steel mural, which he created after winning a central bank competition in 1988. The work, assembled from individual pieces of steel and other materials, remained displayed at the central bank. Other major work includes the Triumphant Christ mural at Christ the King's Roman Catholic Church in San Fernando and the Escriva Lighthouse Tower at the Pointer Pier roundabout. His inventive approach also extended to construction, including a homemade pile-driving device he developed using a Land Rover, cables, and a heavy steel hammer to drive steel pipes deep into the riverbank. Chen was equally accomplished in theater and literature. He designed sets for productions including Derek Walcott's Ty Jean, and his brothers and Tennessee Williams. A streetcar named Desire, winning awards for his work, and later wrote about 20 plays. His plays Freedom Road, which explored the lives of Indians on the sugar estate, won a national drama competition and was staged in Canada, while Tainted Blood was also adapted for television. His literary work included King of the Carnival and Crossbones and other stories, with his writing receiving international recognition. Away from the art, Chen was a successful businessman who operated a bakery and later established Printex Converters, a printing and packaging company. His achievements earned numerous honors, including the Hummingbird Silver in 1989 and the Chaconia Medal Silver in 2006, the Nallis Lifetime Literary Award, and the Niehurst Award for Excellence in Science and Technology. He credited his parents, Chinese immigrants, John and Irish Chen, with teaching him discipline, hard work, and respect, while artist Candice Chan was an important influence on his creative development. So to the family and friends of our famed artist, Willie Chen, condolences to you. Trinidad and Tobago has lost one of its creative and renowned sons of the soil, son of the soil. And our condolences comes from Bounce Up Central and Louis of the Ting people, friends and family. So let me continue. I'm also seeing that today is the Earth Strong of one of our famed designers. Where is his pic? Yes. Richard Young. I think he has a brother also, but we are celebrating Richard Young's birthday today. Also, before I read about Richard Young, I want to send happy Earth Strong greetings to LP Jr. He will know who it is. LP Jr. Happy Earth Strong coming from Jen Jen. Hey, so let me read about Richard Young now. So Richard Young is well known throughout the Caribbean as a stylist, production designer, and impresario. He is the founder slash artistic director of his own events management slash production design company for the past 25 years. He has been working intensively or extensively throughout the English-speaking Caribbean, producing fashion, beauty, arts, related events from the Bahamas in the north to Guyana and the south, with stints in Miami, New York, Toronto, and Montreal. Regional makeup artist, stylist, art director, fashion columnist, pageant designer and model, beauty queen coach are only some of his myriad skills in his vast portfolio. His unique flair for events management resulted in him serving as a facilitator in the events management program at the Open School for the Arts, an initiative of the Ministry of Culture and Tourism, as well as the Arthur Lovejock's Graduate School of Business. Further, he was commissioned as creative consultant for television magazine shows Dateline, Trinidad, Sunrise, St. Lucia, Diatribe, Guyana. In addition to being director for Guyana's Mother's Search Designer Portfolio, a television reality series. For the last 5 years, he was the art director of the first movie filmed in Antigua, The Sweetest Mango. Recently, he was cast as judge and creative consultant for the inaugural Caribbean's Next Top Model to be aired on CBS in February. Well, that was back then, right? 2013. Excuse me. He is no stranger to the latter brand of television programming, for he consulted and judged on the pioneering television model series Synergy Supermodel in Trinidad, with contribution to a few regional magazines under his belt, as well as local newspaper columns. He eventually served as style editor for the Express newspapers, OMG, magazine in Trinidad. He also edited the Queens of Queens magazine for 5 years and was editor-in-chief to Guyana's Fashion Weekend 5-event magazine. That is what I got for Mr. Richard Young. And to all those who celebrated birthday last month and have celebrated birthdays up to today, happy is strong, and this one is for all you. This is we birthday song here. So let me remove the elegant and fashionable Mr. Young and let me play this song. Love you all. Happy is strong, everybody. LP Jr., Mr. Richard Young, hey, and to all my peeps who celebrating their birthday today. So let me take a listen. You know my thing. Hey.
There we go, Travis. Feeling to sing. I feeling to sing. I feeling to sing. I feeling to sing. Sing happy birthday to you. Sing happy birthday to you. Sing happy birthday. Sing happy birthday. Happy birthday to. One more time, let me go. Sing happy birthday to. Oh my God! Happy birthday to you. Sing happy birthday. Sing happy birthday. Happy birthday to you.
Yeah, and I was doing it, you know, like this all see, bam. But anyway, happy is strong, people. Let the show continues. Let me go to Tobago. I just bringing back that distorted memory, seeing that we're in a space where a lot of racial tension and conversation and words that should not be used because they could be termed as derogatory. And hearing Farley saying something, in fact, he want to get involved in he don't want to get involved in that talk because of tourism and this and that. But I wonder if you remember when he was saying things like this, he didn't have a problem back then. So listen.
PNM is the most anti-black party in the country. Don't be fooled. Let me be plain to you. They just walk around fooling poor black people, telling them this is a black party, and when they get in office, it's only the 1% that's benefit. Only people that don't look like me and you. And that is why in the past, we call the former Prime Minister a roast breadfruit. He black outside and the inside still white. And not even no good butter breadfruit. He not even yellow, inside white.
We love you all, we love you. And make sure the anchor holds right up until the next stage election. Blue. Now for you said, in Trinidad the code is yellow. When I listen to you on the platform, you're not easy, you know. You say you have a man here, be like a roast breadfruit. I heard you. You said the man is like a roast breadfruit. And you said, but that's not the right kind, because inside not yellow like a good butter breadfruit. So the yellow in Trinidad is the butter yellow. And the blue. God loves all of you. Thank you. Love you. Thank you.
Did you have any talks with the Prime Minister concerning this entire situation? Did you communicate with her at all?
No, I haven't had any conversation with her about it. I have not raised it with her. As I said, it's quite purposeful that we was decided we will stay out of that.
Are you disappointed with all sides?
I am disappointed that in 2026, Trinidad will still have to work on that, because I don't want us to get to the place where our economic fortunes are in jeopardy because we cannot move with each other. There are investors looking on at Trinidad right now who might be wondering whether this is a good place to bring foreign direct investment. There are tourists who might be looking on, wondering whether this is a safe place to have a vacation. I can tell you, if I am to take a vacation, I tend to search about what that country's history of racism is, because I don't want to vacation in a place where I feel uncomfortable, where I feel like every minute I could be racially profiled. That's why I'm extra cautious when I go into some other countries which I can be nameless. I watch what I wear, I watch where I go, I watch how I dress, so that I can't be profiled. I don't want people to second guess whether Trinidad was a beautiful place and whether or not they should visit our beautiful country.
Fali, give me a break with that stupid rhetoric, boy. You was just calling say Dr. Rolly a rose breadfruit, which is derogatory term, we black outside and white inside. And so they so want to make it something. Breadfruit will be white inside. Eh? So we know the intent and what you're talking, no, you don't want a guy that call you to all the too deceitful and underneath, boy. And what they just call God name and go church and have Sabbath. All it continues. So listen to Ms. Shamfor Kojo Lewis, who is now the political leader of the Tobago PNM and also deputy political leader of the PNM.
Buying scrap iron, old battery buying. Yeah, you heard me right. I said buying scrap iron, old battery buying. That's what the government doing. Now listen to Begonians. We have been asked to rejoice because the government has procured the MV Golden Carrier to replace the MV Blue Wave Harmony. You heard me right. The MV Blue Wave Harmony is being replaced by the MV Golden Carrier. Now, this is the same Blue Wave Harmony that the government found it fit to bless us with in January after the TPP won in Tobago. The Blue Party won, so they gave us the Blue Wave Harmony.
The vessel offers increased cargo capacity, expanded, listen to this, so we have increased cargo capacity, meaning it will carry more load, expanded refrigerated cargo capacity, it will carry more cold things, larger cold storage, heavier duty loading ramps, suitable for specialized and heavy cargo, and improved operational reliability through increased engine redundancy.
Now, interestingly, the members of the public, the Truckers Association, the business fraternity had complained. They cried out. They said that this boat was unfit for purpose.
Fellow truckers, we are on board the Blue Wave Harmony right now. The toilets are not working, so this is our new toilets to be using right now. So this is our new toilets that we are going to be using right now. Portable toilets.
We are asking for the minister to come out and give us the truth, because this is disastrous. Many of us have not slept for the night, and it cannot be that Miss Julie John and her government sleeps comfortably, and the people of Tobago, both the business owners and their employees, are up all night this morning with headaches from no rest. This cannot continue.
A matter of fact, when citizens throughout Trinidad and Tobago questioned the Minister of Works and Infrastructure about the 30 defects that had shown up on the U.S. Standard and Poor's vessel report, our Minister of Works and Infrastructure said that it was Wikipedia information and people were making mischief. So the red flags came out early. We had 2 months of sea trials. And if the assessment was done properly, if the certification process was worth its salt, then we wouldn't need to have 2 months of sea trials. But we had 2 months of sea trials, and very early, our government, our truckers, our Port Authority of Trinidad and Tobago recognized that the boat trusts were broken. So in addition to the $25,000 that taxpayers had to pay to lease this boat daily, we had to pay an additional sum in order to engage pilot vessel and tugboat to support this piece of scrap metal. Now, 8 weeks into the inter-island cargo ferry MV Blue Harmony operation, the truckers complained that the AC units or the AC system in the cabins were dysfunctional, therefore making them out of commission, so the cabins couldn't be used. And interestingly, we had to rent porta potties to place them on the Blue Wave Harmony so that these truckers can have some place to use the restroom. Now, these complaints have been raised over and over by the Truckers Association and the business fraternity. This boat was unfit, and the government of Trinidad and Tobago, alongside our Tobago House of Assembly, knew that fully well from day one. So it is rather interesting that we are now being made to believe that the owner of the Blue Wave Harmony has pulled the ship from Trinidad and Tobago Sea Bridge for routine servicing and maintenance. This is the same boat with the dysfunctional AC, the broken toilets, and all the other issues raised by the national community. So we ought to believe now that we are being blessed with this MV Golden Carrier because the Blue Wave Harmony has to undergo routine maintenance and services. Trimbagonians, or should I say Tobagonians, you're big and you have sense. And you know very well that this has nothing to do with routine maintenance services. This is all about trying to repair a piece of unfit scrap iron, or should I say a piece of marine history. Tobagonians, I call on you to wake up, because the same questions we had in January and the same questions we had in March, the matters I raised with you and highlighted 10 weeks ago on my social media page, where I showed you the porta potties and I raised the issues that were mentioned by the Truckers Association, they still exist. Hence the reason the government is running wild trying to fix this specific vessel to serve you once again. So the MV Golden Carrier, it's a temporary fix, but very soon you're going to be seeing the same old Blue Wave Harmony that is being repaired. You're going to see that once again. So the question still stands. We need information as it relates to the procurement process, the assessment, the certification. Were there any other option? And why is the government so adamant about foisting upon the people of Trinidad and Tobago this specific vessel that we know has been unfit from day one? And you know, to add insult to injury, this government went behind the backs of the business community, the Truckers Association, the wives and the mothers in the household, the farmers, and everybody who depend on this inter-island cargo service, and extended the contract of this Blue Wave Harmony by an additional 6 months. I mean, no consultation, no conversation, no reports as it relates to speaking with the truckers, speaking with the business community. This government went ahead and extended the contract of the already decrepit Blue Wave Harmony. Tobagonians, I call on you to wake up. Tobagonians, I call on you to mind your business. Where is the voice of our Tobago House of Assembly? Where is our chief secretary? Instead of standing up, pounding the pavement and letting the UNC know that Tobago deserves better, Tobago deserves a ferry service that is functional and a boat that would serve our truckers, serve our business community. They have decided to hide, to stay silent, and to try to sell to us that the Blue Wave is God's best gift to the people of Tobago and the people of Trinidad and Tobago. Tobagonians deserve better. Where are our representatives from the 15 electoral district, the people who are supposed to be standing up in our defense? If the PNM were in power, you would have heard their mouths. You would have heard them crying out. But today, it is deafening silence. And they believe that if they don't address a situation, they hide and they duck, then the people of Tobago will forget. I tell you, as our monies disappear, our memories are still here, and we are going to call you to account. So I'm calling on our Chief Secretary, Farley Augustine. I'm calling on all representatives in the Tobago House of Assembly to stand up, speak out. Tobago deserves better. And I hope that they can convince their UNC handlers in Port of Spain to use this time where they have already extended the contract for the Blue Wave Harmony. Use this time and procure a vessel that is fit, that is capable, that is competent and can do the work between Trinidad and Tobago to better serve the people of Tobago, or truckers, or business fraternity, the women in the household who are depending on the goods and so on to take care of our families, our farmers. We are counting on you. Is we. Tobago is we. And we need you to speak up for us. We need you to speak up for we. So, to my Chief Secretary, to my representative, don't abdicate your responsibility. Stand up and be counted. Tobago deserves better. This Blue Wave Harmony is not it. And I am yet to be convinced that this Golden Carrier is any better. I place this in your hands. Please don't disappoint us this time once again. Thank you.
So that there is the political leader of the People's National Movement in Tobago and one of the deputy political leaders of the People's National Movement. And I give the video, let it play, so you all can listen carefully what it is happening in Tobago. So Fali don't want to talk about race, but he know how to call Dr. Raleigh a breadfruit and all kind of nasty thing. And he proud about the blue wave, but now the blue wave going to fix and they bring our next. Listen, under the People's National Movement, how many fast ferries the Tobago got? Yes, there were problems with the sea bridge and that, but then didn't Dr. Raleigh buy new ferries for Tobago? Okay. So let me continue, people. So a couple of days ago, we see Gerald Ramdeen and others foaming at the mouth. Oh God, they couldn't contain themselves. So excited because the Prime Minister is using the energy sector. And listen, anything that will help Trinidad and Tobago and the economy of Trinidad and Tobago, I am all for it. Let me put that there, right? So let me continue this. So this is the Prime Minister meeting with the gentleman from America. I think he's something, whatever. And we in partnership. So this was in The Guardian today. Prime Minister Kamala Persaud says agreement reached during a visit by United States Deputy Secretary of State Christopher Landau marks renewed confidence in Trinidad and Tobago and can help drive investment, energy security, and industrial development. Persaud made a comment at a signing ceremony during the Landau official visit to TNT yesterday. She identified three major commercial initiatives: Curlew Midstream proposed fuel storage and bunkering terminal at Point Lisa, Pinnacle Steel and Vanadium Corporation's proposed restoration for the former ISCA plant, and agreements between the National Gas Company and BP linked to the Manakin Coquina cross-border gas fields. Today, our nation turned long-standing friendships into action, into creating opportunities for people, Persaud said. She said the Manakin Coquina agreement had removed a major obstacle in development for the field, allowing BP to accelerate its final investment decision. Manakin in TNT Block 5B and Coquina in Venezuela Plataforma del Tana Block 4 are being developed as a single unit, with TNT holding 66% shares and Venezuela 34%. The Prime Minister noted that both governments agreed to develop the field as a single unit in February 2015 when she was last Prime Minister. Today, more than 10 years later, I'm closing the deal and we are already getting to work. She said 25% of the gas is expected to support domestic power generation, downstream industries, and light industrial customers, while the remaining 75% will support LNG production, increased supply in LNG from 2027. And she continues, and she continues, and she continues. I just want to say one thing, as I said before, any development for economy to build it, I faith. But those things that happened didn't just happen in 12 and 13 months. There was 10 years of the platform and the work being done. What you are probably reaping now is off of those things that was done by the PNM. Not only that, did you sign a memorandum of agreement, understanding, which would be called understanding is not an agreement. It says, okay, we understand, we'll do this and that, whatever. So which one do you sign with them? Two, you speak about Venezuela as though Trinidad and Tobago had conversation with Venezuela under your tenure. What is happening, whatever arrangement that BP has with Venezuela to get their gas, once Venezuela sell them the gas, Venezuela, in my opinion, don't care who the hell BP going and sell gas to and whatever arrangement. So you don't have a direct arrangement, from my understanding, with Venezuela. BP has an arrangement with Venezuela, and then whenever they buy Venezuela gas, we have to now negotiate with BP to get something from it. Whereas before, it was Trinidad and Tobago at the table, and when whatever we get from the gas, if it had come true, as it was supposed to come true, then BP and them will get what we give to them. Now the other way around, we are now at the mercy of these multinational companies that could give us whatever they feel to give us or don't give us. And remember that when PNM came in 2015, and the country was in a recession, as told to us by the then Governor General, who was a family member of somebody big in the COP or PP government or UNC, whatever, and said 3 days money alone in the treasury. Well, not cash money, but you all know how it goes. And we're in a recession. So the government was saddled with a 14% increase, highest ever. We were happy for it, of course. That was settled by the UNC, but not paid by the UNC. 14% increase in salaries of public officers. And Dr. Rowley borrowed money and paid. He didn't say he can't pay it. With a recession, everybody was working, and then we get hit with COVID-19, and everybody know this story by now, but the point I'm making is this. Whatever arrangement that we have now is not with Venezuela. Oh, and what I was saying when I started talking about that, in 2015, with all those scenarios when Dr. Rowley and they went to the different oil companies, so where's the money, where's the corporate tax, they were told, hey, the UNCPP government said we don't have to pay nothing till 2024. So me, while I am happy if this country gets any benefit, seeing that it's under the UNC government and seeing the history from back in 2010 to 15, I am concerned, but it is what it is. You remember when she came and stood up with a container with some dirty looking something and said they find oil and all that. All those things are historical things out there that people still remember. So based on that, I'm sure a lot of people are like, what they sell, what they give away, how much we beholden to these transnational corporate, what is happening? So again, we wait to see with that. And then there's also this picture. Understand the food was double. So okay. I hope that it is not as somebody said, and that is the conversation they were having, that they will put this and that and this and that in it, in doubles for African people to eat. I hope that they didn't put this and this and that and that and that for the white man to eat. I hope it was a good meal. They look like they're enjoying themselves. So kudos, right? Let me continue. So I'm also seeing where former MP in the UNC, Mr. Rodney Charles, remember when in a UNC jersey on the platform, he said the only party to take us out of the morass is the PNM? Okay, that's Rodney Charles. The man who had lunch with Ms. Palin, who is somebody from French, who is the opposition and whatever, and she was trying to vie for the presidency or prime ministership or whatever of France, and he went to see, he was a permanent member of the UN. He went and he sell, well, that is how you know how we like to get talk. We say he sell you out for a plate of food with Palin. Well, Mr. Rodney Charles. So he has said, and this is today, the 11th, in the, what is the Accra Summary, sorry. Former UNC MP and former Trinidad and Tobago permanent representative to the United Nations, Rodney Charles, is warning that the government could face political and diplomatic fallout if the balance of power shift in Washington following the midterm elections. Charles, who served as MP for Naparima, believes the Kamala Persad-Bissessar administration should begin preparing now for that possibility, arguing that the political wind in the United States could change significantly if Democrats make major gains in Congress. His warning comes as the government continues to strengthen its relationship with US President Donald Trump's administration. Just yesterday, Pasabi Sessa publicly thanked Trump and his administration for reducing Trinidad and Tobago tariff rate for 10% following negotiations between Foreign and CARICOM Affairs Minister Sean Sobers and the United States Trade Representative in Washington. I want to take a moment to thank President Trump and his team with your good self for all the bargaining that we have done, Pasabi Sessa said. She also thanked Sobers for representing Trinidad and Tobago in the negotiations, saying the lower tariff meant less we have to pay. The Prime Minister said Trinidad and Tobago qualification for the 10% rate will benefit the country's exporters and economy. But Charles, in a statement titled, "Is TNT preparing for a post-Trump world?" is urging the government to consider what could happen if Trump Republicans suffer significant losses in November. He said scenario planning was necessary to ensure Trinidad and Tobago is not caught flat-footed. These wins ought to bring a chill to world leaders who have been bending the knee in support of Mr. Trump's agenda, Charles said. He pointed to recent polling, which he said showed Democrats with advantages on congressional voting preferences, the economy, and other enthusiasm, while Trump faced high disapproval ratings. If there's a blue wave, as many predict, TNT stands to lose if it is not nimble, remains flat-footed, and lacks political gravitas, Charles warned. His comments came against the backdrop of Pasabi Sessa's close alignment with Washington on regional security since returning to office last year. Pasabi Sessa has been one of the Caribbean's strongest supporters of U.S. kinetic strikes against alleged drug trafficking vessels in the region. In September 2025, she publicly backed the U.S. military campaign and said she had no sympathy for traffickers, later maintaining her support as the strike continued. TNT also participated in U.S.-led Joint Task Force Southern Spare, under which Washington coordinated military operations with Latin American and Caribbean partners against alleged narcotics traffickers. That initiative has since replaced the Joint Task Western Hemisphere, the Joint Task Force Western Hemisphere. The country is also part of the 18-nation America's counter-cartel coalition known as Shield of Americas, which Trump launched in Florida in March. Pasabi Sessa attended that launch. The initiative seeks to strengthen intelligence sharing and coordinate regional operations against organized crime and drug cartels. Charles warned that a change in Washington political landscape could result in greater scrutiny of some of those operations. He suggested investigations could be launched into Operation Southern Spare over allegations surrounding extrajudicial killings in Caribbean and Pacific waters, as well as into the U.S. operation in Venezuela, which resulted in the removal of Nicolas Maduro and his wife. Pasabi Sessa has maintained that TNT's military did not participate in the operation in Venezuela. Charles said TNT should therefore reconsider how it conducts foreign policy, arguing that the Prime Minister should allow greater flexibility rather than personally staking out positions from which the country may later find it difficult to retreat. He also urged the government to reassess its approach to the International Criminal Court, Middle East politics, and voting at the United Nations, while taking genuine steps to repair relations with CARICOM and Venezuela. Without Trump's protection, TNT might become a regional leper, shunned by its neighbors across Latin America and the Caribbean, Charles warned. He said foreign policy must ultimately be driven by long-term national interests rather than personalities or political headlines. Geopolitics is not about headlines, showing power and ignoring seismic changes when they occur, Charles said. It is about cold, dispassionate calculations of national interests in the short, medium, and long term. So that there is Charles Rodney Charles, who was a permanent member of the United Nations. So he knows a little about where he talks. Let me continue. Why I too share concern, it's for another reason also, because I keep remembering this always. It's the failure of Indian leadership in the Caribbean by Dr. Vishnu Bishram. I'm sure you all would have heard me speak about that several times, but it is instructive when you see how things are happening. And this was volume 3, number 1 of 2002, and it says, part of that article, it appears that Indian leaders are more attracted to the trappings of cocktail parties, first-class travel, five-star hotels, etc., of being in office rather than in bringing about meaningful change in society or genuinely representing the interests of their supporters, appeasing the other side and neglecting their own supporters, because the hallmark of their policy, filling their own pockets through kickbacks, awarding government contracts, became their number one priority. They did everything to make a quick buck for themselves, and they set up close relatives in businesses rather than doing something to ameliorate poverty and suffering for their supporters or the society as a whole. Loyalty rather than competence was rewarded. The Indian party became the party of one-man rule. So said Dr. Vishnu Bishram on the failure of Indian leadership in the Caribbean. Do you not see some similarities? I'm just asking. Then I see that they continue in the San Fernando waterfront project that they were so up in arms about when they were in opposition just a year and something ago. And this was in the Daily Express. Work has resumed on the San Fernando waterfront weeks after the Urban Development Corporation UDCOT invited proposal for the development of the site. The billion-dollar redevelopment project, which was intended to transform Trinidad's southern city, had largely stalled following April 25th, the April 2025 general election amidst change in government and shifting priorities under the new administration. However, the Express observed excavation work yesterday near the former fishing facility and wharf reclamation site. Under the previous PNM, People's National Movement government, several initial phases of the project had been completed, including the San Fernando reclamation, where 3,000 tons of armored rock were used to construct a revetment. The San Fernando fishing facility and parking facility were also completed. By the end of 2024, UDCOT had told the Express that restoration of the Plaza San Carlos Heritage District and the Trinidad Government Railroad building had begun and was expected to be completed earlier this year. The demolition and decommissioning of the former Public Transport Service Corporation PTSC maintenance compound at Lady Hales Avenue was also reported to be 95% completed. The site was earmarked for a mixed-use development. After taking office, the new United National Congress UNC government introduced a sweeping revitalization plan that incorporated elements of the waterfront redevelopment into its broader investment program for San Fernando. Prime Minister Kamla Prasad said in November that the city would shine once more. Projects previously listed by UDCOT under San Fernando redevelopment programs, including Plaza San Carlos, a harbor, hotel and transportation hub, appeared to remain part of the government's plan. In February, Works and Infrastructure Minister Jolene John said UDCOT had received 965 expressions of interest for projects, including the revitalization plan, including the San Fernando redevelopment. In late April, the Express reported that work was underway at the former PTSC bus yard, where the previous government had proposed 300 luxury housing units along Lady Hales Avenue. The project had been criticized by Prasad Bisasa before last year's general election. A billboard at the site still promoting development as luxury living redefined remained in place, while a fence was recently installed around the property. Last month, UDCOT issued a request for proposal inviting suitably qualified and experienced entities to submit bids for 3 separate projects: the San Fernando Hotel and Convention Center, San Fernando Waterfront Park Residence, and San Fernando Waterfront Residence, Reclamation and Green Park is important, I really said. The deadline for submission is October the 7th. UDICOT says the 3 projects are separate procurement exercises and that an online information session was held via Microsoft Teams in July 31st. Under the government revitalization plan, the proposed 250-room San Fernando hotel will include marina berth and rooftop dining, while a 10,000-seat convention center and a 250-person amphitheater also planned along the coastline. The plan also proposed 1,500 housing units overlooking a mile-long beach and public park as part of the San Fernando waterfront residence development. Isn't that what the People's National Movement was doing? And the UNC was up in arms against it. So I go back to this thing that I just read. That's why I have my concern. The failure of Indian leadership in the Caribbean by Dr. Vishnu Visram. It appears that Indian leaders are more attracted to trappings of cocktail parties, first-class travel, 5-star hotels, etc., of being in office rather than bringing about meaningful change in society or genuinely representing the interests of their supporters, appeasing the other side and neglecting their own supporters became the hallmark of their policy, filling their own pockets through kickbacks. Awarding government contracts became their #1 priority. They did everything to make a quick buck for themselves, and they set up close relatives in business rather than doing something to ameliorate poverty and suffering of their supporters or the society as a whole. Loyalty rather than competence was rewarded. The Indian party became the party of one rule. And then we are seeing this was on Stuart Young, Member of Parliament for Port of Spain North, St. Anne's West. If you look there, that's the Queen's Park Savannah, and there is some concrete structure growing up, like they're taking all the green spaces. So MP said, as Member of Parliament for Port of Spain North, St. Anne's West, he said, I was surprised to see what appears to be a significant structure being erected opposite the President House in the Queen's Park Savannah, along with piles of aggregate and steel rollers. I am asking the Prime Minister, I'm asking Kamala Persad-Sessa's government, what is being erected there and what paving, if any, is proposed to take place in the Savannah? Is this related to a scaled-down Independence Day parade? Who is erecting this structure and for what? Is paving proposed? If so, why and for what? The green spaces in our beloved Savannah should not be destroyed and desecrated. What is taking place? I look forward to urgent answers in continuous service. Stuart Richard Young, SCMP, August the 9th, 2026. Excuse me. And from that, I'm reading all this. And from that, we see here in Trini Lou's News, 5-day deadline. 5-day deadline. Possible court action. Eddie Hart, police post, row escalates. This was today. The Tanapuna-Piaco Regional Corporation Chairman Josiah Austin says the state has been given the 5 days to respond to a violation notice issued over construction at the Eddie Hart Savannah. Austin said the notice was served on Friday to the contractors after the corporation failed to secure a meeting with the authorities involved in the project. He said TPRC, which is acronym for Tanapuna-Piaco Regional Corporation, also requested a meeting with UDICOT for yesterday morning, but that request was declined. A follow-up request for a meeting at another convenient time was made, but no meeting had yet taken place. Austin said the corporation is now considering legal action, though he hopes it does not come to that. Importantly, TPRC is not opposing the idea of a police post at Eddie Hart. Austin said the corporation actually welcomes the concept and itself being looking at a police post for the southern section of the savannah. His complaint is about the location chosen for this post, the underground complication at the site, and the lack of consultation before work began. He also raised new concern about work reportedly carried out over the weekend on the underground gas lines, saying he was informed that workers excavated several feet in identifying the lines and carried out work before covering the area again. Austin said this is exactly why consultation with local and other state agencies should have happened before construction started. At this stage, those claims about the gas lines remain Austin's account of what he was told. But the broader dispute is now clear. The issue is no longer just a political quarrel. It is becoming a legal and governance battle over process, consultation, and state authority. And they ask the question, do you believe the TPRC is right to push this matter further, or should the police post proceed regardless of the consultation dispute? That's what they're asking. And I just want to say this. If there's a process in which things should be done, then this process should be followed. In the event something happens, there's a paper trail to show that process was followed. Now, with gas lines, I am not an engineer, chemical person or anything, but I have some little sense. Gas is not something to play with, and whether or not the line is decommissioned or they drag it out, air it, or whatever the thing is, gas is air. And there could still be particles of the gas still trapped in those lines. And those particles of gas could seep into the soil and seep upwards. And it could be doing that for months because it interfered with the lines. That could have a seepage going on for months. Nobody even smelling that because of the air around the savannah land. And you could have a day, God forbid, somebody turn on the light in that police post. And because of the buildup of the gas over time that you're not even smelling because your nose get accustomed to the scent. Or you may even smell it because of the wind blowing in the savannah water. And you put on the light switch and we hear a different story. And then everybody will want to know about paperwork, who gave who and who gave what. So to avoid all those things, why don't we do it the right way and consult the right way? So God forbid anything happen, there's a paper trail to show this was signed off on, we went through the process and everything. Why everything needs to always go to court with this government? You won by a large majority. You don't have to strong arm anybody, but there are rules and regulations to follow because the same police you're going to put there want us to follow the rules, procedures, and regulation. And if the police themselves is not following it for whatever reason, it makes it even more challenging and difficult. And if the government and the ministry that treats with our security is not following procedure, come now, man. Let us all work together. Can we all not just get along? I'm just asking. And again, the PNM has always said in corporation, they're not against police posts, they're not against security and making the place more secure. They're not against that. I've never said that. It is the procedure because the Tagariga grounds is under the custodian. The Tanapuna Regional Corporation is the custodian of the Tagarigua grounds. That's why nobody just can go and build something and build a house and put on a tent, all that. You have to go and speak with the corporation because they are the custodians. Ministry of Sport and Fair or Ministry of Sport or where they are not the custodians, it is the corporation. So just work with the corporation now. So let me continue. So listen to Mr. Norman Dillial, who is a security expert. He says, so Minister Roger Alexander now announced that these police/army posts were planned over a year now, and neither he nor the PM can answer 10 simple questions about the process to the media and the public. Are we seeing further lapses in the construction, procurement, and award of contract as names are being called with no clear insight, leaving to speculation that there will be no transparency as the government might hide behind a national security, non-disclosure, and sole selective tender? Now more than ever, you need to answer these questions. So they said open letter 10 questions on the 30 Joint Army Police Post. To the Prime Minister, Minister Roger Alexander, dear or Madam Prime Minister, you announced 30 joint posts in 4 months. The people deserve details, not slogans. How, or here are some questions that must be answered as you continue to spend citizens' money. Manpower and Operation 1. Source of personnel, exactly where is the 240 to 300 officers and soldiers come from to staff 30 posts 24/7? Which units will be depleted to provide them? Provide the unit names and numbers. 2, rotation and rest. What is the rotation schedule? How many hours per shift? How will rest days, sick leave, and court time be covered without collapsing other operations? 3, command and control. Who is the commanding officer for each post? Who has operational command? TTSP or the TTDF, which is Trinidad and Tobago Defense Force? What is the chain of command for arrest and use of force? Logistics and funding. 4, budget. What is the total budget allocated for these 30 posts for year 1? Breakdown for vehicles, fuel, food, water, sanitation, lighting, communication, and infrastructure. 5, vehicles and response. Will each post have a dedicated MARC response vehicle with 24/7 fuel and maintenance? If not, what is the guaranteed response time to an incident 1 kilometer away from the post? 6, infrastructure. Who is responsible for building toilets, showers, shelters, CCTV, and secure armories at each location? What is the timeline for completion before personnel are posted? Strategy and accountability. 7, threat assessment. Provide the crime/intelligence data that justify these exact 30 locations. Why Taruba flyover and not 500 meters away? Why was this not done via the National Security Council risk matrix? 8, metric of success. How will you measure if a post is working? Reduction in crime within 1 kilometer, arrest, or just presence? What happens if a post shows 0 results after 3 months? 9, legal authority. Under what law will joint police army arrests be conducted at these posts? SRE regulations. What are the rules of the engagement? Who is liable if there is an incident? 10, exit plan. This is announced for 4 months. What is the exit strategy? Will these become permanent? If the SRE ends, do the posts come down? Or is this a permanent drain on manpower? Citizens want to feel safe, but safety without a plan is a theater. Our soldiers and police deserve proper resources, not to be dumped at an interchange with no support. We await your answers so Parliament and the public can have an informed debate. The country is watching. Sincerely, Lieutenant Commander Norman Dindian, RDT, former ACSO Joint Operation Training, TTDF. Yep. So I needed to read these things because it is very, very important. Listen to this. I don't know.
Trinidad and Tobago, let's have an honest conversation about the mobile police posts. I'm going to talk about what the UNC is getting right
and in my opinion, what they're getting wrong. In theory, I support the concept of mobile police posts as a mechanism to decrease response times, enhance public safety, and as a deterrent to crime. In theory, I even support the concept of temporary ZOSOs to allow for the prevention and detection of criminal activity. The issue, as usual, is that the UNC completely chokes on the details and quickly spirals into daily mental breakdowns. Here's an analogy. It's like we're all in a dark room at night. The UNC shows up with a candle, that's great. And then they burn the whole house down. Oh my goodness, that's a perfect analogy for the UNC government. Mobile police posts and ZOSOs are realistic crime-fighting tools years after you've brought in significant structural reforms within the national security apparatus. The ZOSO legislation suffered from easily fixable issues. The UNC decided to reject all of the amendments and insult the independent senators who tried to fix the bill. The police are under-resourced. When you call the station today for an emergency, oftentimes they don't have a car, or they show up a day later. In fact, crimes are being committed literally outside of police stations, and in some cases, even within the police station itself. Mobile police posts make that problem even worse. Just today, another police officer was detained on a PDO, accused of helping the gangs. You needed to do the structural reforms first. But okay, fine, I'll support the mobile police posts. But apparently you're pouring concrete over an NGC gas line because you didn't consult anyone. And then when you're questioned about it, you either point fingers at somebody else or devolve into a mental breakdown and shout mentally sick racist statements at the entire country, as the Prime Minister did again last night. It's completely insane. There's an old Turkish proverb which goes, when a clown moves into a palace, she doesn't become the queen. The palace becomes a circus. Kamla Prasad Bisesar's daily racist temper tantrums. Pouring concrete over an NGC gas line without asking anyone. Come for my eye and I will take your whole head, she says. This is the United National Congress. Welcome to their circus.
And somebody, I know see somebody asked a question, I was asked that too. Where's Dr. Ruda Mullah, the Minister of Energy? I hope he's okay. I hope he is all right, but I'm not seeing him in front and taking lead in all these exciting energy conversations that they have. And I'm seeing instead the chairman of NGC, So who is actually the Minister of Energy? I'm just asking. Dr. Munilal, I hope that everything is okay with you. So let me continue. Thanks for putting up that question there, Sabina. So let me continue with this conversation here, because these things are important. So again, MP for Police Sentence West Church would have asked, what is the procurement process for police posts? In their usual fashion of creating distractions, the Kamla Prasad Bisesar government is attempting to focus our attention on the policy of implementing police posts and the construction of what appears to be permanent structures without statutory planning approvals, as opposed to temporary police posts. However, the legal question which needs answering are, how were the contractors selected to build these posts? What was the procurement methodology used? Is it public money being expended to construct these posts, and therefore the Public Procurement and Disposal of Public Property Act applies? Which ministry or state entities undertaking the awards of these contracts? Where were the contracts to the construction of the police posts advertised? What evaluation took place to decide which contractor or contractor should be awarded these contracts? What is the cost of each post? Who has been awarded the contracts to build each post? Is it true that once again a Ramhit-owned or related company has been awarded a contract to build a contentious police post in Tanapuna? Who awarded the contract and using what procurement method? These are some of the questions that require answers. Do not allow this corrupt UNC government to distract you from the important issues surrounding the expenditure of public money. The OPR, that the Office of the Procurement Regulator, the OPR should be asking these questions and intervening on behalf of law-abiding citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. Who is winning? those who have received these lucrative contracts and who are they. In continued service, Stuart R. Young, SCMP, August 7, 2026. Even Mr. Shark, listen to this, all you are not able. Listen to this.
Deserves to have a level of transparency with respect to the cost,
all of that,
the procurement, and these kind of things.
All of that will be given to you in a subsequent announcement.
I said, give me a F, and let them know that is the code. F-O. The two worst Alexanders in the world, anti-make ministers. One is a racist troll, and one need a West Indian first primer. F-O. Tell them that is the code.
People are not able, again, I only keep remembering what Dr. Vishnu Bishram said. It's about kickback, filling their own pockets through kickbacks. Awarding government contract became the #1 priority. And he's speaking about the failure of Indian leadership in the Caribbean. I just reading what was written here. People, get ready for the people meter poll or Jenny meter. Jenny people meter poll. So director, could you put up the question, please? Because as usual, I remember what I write. So director, I hope you're not in the fridge looking for Morby, but you're there to put up the people meter poll. So I could ask the question. Yes, she now enters, so she must run like hell from the fridge to get in front of the computer. You're not right here, no? So people, this is the people meter poll, Jenny's people meter poll. And the question is, after all those things I just read, are you confident this government is making decisions in the best interest of Trinidad and Tobago? Again, based on all the things I read and all the contract deal and the energy, this and the police posts and all the bacchanal and confusion not following process. Are you confident this government is making decisions in the best interest of Trinidad and Tobago? Again, to vote 1, the #1 for yes, do not type YES, the #2 for no, and #3 to abstain. Voting starts now. People, let's vote, let's vote. Are you confident this government is making decisions in the best interest of Trinidad and Tobago? The letter 1 or the #1 for yes, you're confident. Oh God, listen, let me read. All I understand the question now. Are you confident this government is making decisions in the best interest of TNT? If you say yes, you're confident in the government, type 1. If you say no, you're not confident, type 2. I think a little misunderstand that question again, you know. All right. Don't say all they didn't understand it. I said it the last time because I want to be sure. All they confident this government making decision in the best interest? If all they confident, #1, yes. If all they not confident, #2, right. And while we voting, you know we must have the word of the day. Let me get the word of the day. Where the damn word of the day? Word of the day.
Today's word is brought to you by the letter Q. Today's word is quotidian. Quotidian means every day, daily, or just ordinary. So think of the routines you have that you don't even think about, like brushing your teeth in the morning and brushing your teeth at night. Those are quotidian routines. You do them every day. You don't think about them. They're ordinary. Maybe you're someone who eats the same lunch every day, right? You have a peanut butter and jelly sandwich in your cubicle every day at 12:30. There's nothing out of the ordinary about it. It's not a special day. It's not your birthday where you go out to some fancy lunch with your whole team. It's just your quotidian meal every day.
Yes, so that's the word of the quotidian. Spell it, understand it, and use it in a sentence. And voting is over. So again, the question was, are you confident this government is making decisions in the best interest of TNT? 5% said yes, they're confident in this government. And 95% say, we are confident that this government making no decision in the best interest for Trinidad and Tobago. So the 95% have it. Thank you all people for taking part in Jenny's People Meter poll. It's always a pleasure. And it is always followed by the word of the day. So we continue the thing. So the Mahasabha has said no offense with the use of the word COLLIE. And the Mahasabha secretary is Vijay Maharaj, who is, I think, the first son of deceased Chat Maharaj. I'm just going to read a little piece because me, myself, getting tired of this. And to me, in my opinion, the Prime Minister keep using the word as if to get some type of sympathy or empathy from people. I don't know why it's either she's proud of being a COLLIE, showing how far she came from, because the word is used as an unskilled laborer, or she's offended by it. She can't be both. So are you using it in reference to strength to show you're proud of where you came from? Because the word COLLIE is unskilled laborer, and indentured laborers came to Trinidad and Tobago from the Asian countries, especially India, as unskilled labor, so they were called coolies. Yeah? So pick a fight, pick a struggle. You can't use it in power and then offended, if somebody say. But I want to just put this there. So the Mahasabha has no issue with the use of the word. And he referenced it, he says a colonial origin, and the word which is initially used to describe laborers from China, India, Portugal, and the Middle East, who were brought to the region to provide labor following the abolition of slavery. He said he don't see it as a derogatory word. And he said some person use it as a derogatory for their own edification. That is up to them. But the Mahasabha has never run away from the fact that we are regarded just like the Chinese, Portuguese, and others that came to work on the plantation as COLLIES, laborers. I don't take offense to that. So I hear him, but I want to let them know, don't feel this is an underhand way that all they go call we the N-word and say, well, it's okay to call all the C words, or they could call me the N-word. Let me tell you something. The N-word ain't had three meanings. The N-word is what it is. It is derogatory, it is discriminatory, it is insultive, it is against a particular ethnic group, the African people. It ain't had nothing complimentary in that. It ain't had 3 and 4 meaning. So don't feel because all you say, you don't have a problem with the word coolie, which means unskilled laborers, and unskilled laborers came to Trinidad. It means to say it's a permission that is okay to call we and I, you know the rest. No, it is not. If you are comfortable using the word COLLIE, that's up to you all. That's up to you, because anybody could be from the Asian countries, could be COLLIE, because they still have COLLIE working in train station and all that, as whatever in China and Asian countries. But the NIGGER, let's get that straight. It ain't had 3 and 4 meaning, and if they have no, I wonder if it's that they mean. When you say it, that is what it means: derogatory, racist, hateful speech. So let me continue. So don't try that. So this is, let me play this. Let me play this for you all.
I paid a visit to Patna village in Digomatin, where I was born, and had a chat with a few people who I think would know about the village. And you know, nobody know about Patna village. Patna village originally was Coolie Block. That is where I was born. That's what are my birth paper. Right? And in those days, it was a small, quiet village where you had some white Grenadians living, some Indians, and some black people. And they were knitted. And the man who controlled the village at that time was a man called Deacon Smith. A great man. And although he was great, people feared him because people say he's the deal and all those kind of things. Deacon Smith used to keep an order in the village. He was the policeman. He was instrumental in building the first community center in Coolie Block. And that center was used for weddings, christening, and whatever the people needed. You understand? We had the wireless station up on North Post, high up North Post. And then you had the sea behind. We also had a beach named Bulichi, where people used to go and bathe. Today, everybody know Bulichi as a big rock and those kind of things because the sea eroded. But I want to tell you something about Deacon Smith that was unique about him. Deacon Smith had 2 dogs named Tello and Kita. And every Saturday, he would give each of the dogs a basket with a list and send them in the village to make grocery. And they would go to the grocery with their basket and come back with the grocery. And nobody interfered with them. And it was so. And every morning, Deacon used to live in Toya Street by the river. And he had a wife named Miss Emily. She used to live by where the community center is right now. And every morning, one of the dogs would carry breakfast in a basket with a towel and those kind of thing for Miss Emily. We all knew her as Auntie Emily. She was a white lady. And this was something I never see. I don't know because they say the man used to deal. I don't believe in those things. Maybe or maybe not. But what I could tell you, when Deacon Smith died in the 80s, the day he died, everything died with him. The monkeys, he had a spit the parrots, the house started to break, even the land and all started to open. The only thing that stood up there was the Anglican church, which he gave to the Anglican people to build a church. People who know more than what I know, because I left there small, we could have a discussion about Patna Village, and maybe I would learn and I could teach you something about Patna Village.
Well, that's some history coming there. What I know that St. James was called Coolie Town because a lot of the indentured Indian laborers, after being quarantined at Nelson Island, that they would have gravitated to St. James, that area. I also know as a fact that the first vagrants, or one better word, beggars on the street in St. James were indentured laborers, and they begged for charity. A lot of them would have died in the poorhouse, was the hospital there, and then buried in the poor man's cemetery or pauper cemetery because nobody claimed them and that thing. So St. James, if you look, has a rich history. If you look at the names of the street, Patna and, oh gosh, Abi Puja, and not Abi Puja, no? Oh gosh, listen, the names can't come to me right now. Bengal, and a lot of the names are names that associate with India. So you could see that rich history. And then when you look at Hosei Festival and stuff, so St. James has a rich history of indentured laborers, and it was called back then, as I say, Coolie Town. So, and you heard the gentleman speak about Patna Village and being called Coolie Block. So there is a rich history. Listen to the gentleman. I like him too bad. He's too sweet. Listen to him.
Right, all you here now, let me just be real this morning now. Let me tell African people, let me tell you something. African people out there, right? I want to know something about me right now this morning here. And all you can take this all you want. I really love all you boy. African people out there, can make everybody all I love all you boy. Let me tell you why. Right? And understand me when I tell you all of this. African people is where I learn most of my morals from. Right? African people is when I go in the place, they asking me what I want to eat. No, they may have for themselves, but they asking me what I want to eat. African people is the ones without, watch me, without them today, couldn't be the man I was. Couldn't be the man I is today. Because I grew up playing football with them, I grew up playing cricket with them, I grew up lineman with them, I grew up with African people, we getting cutters together. Yeah, we covering for one another. But African people I love all that too bad. And you see the African ladies? Well, what's yet? But I know some of them that tell themselves as a racial person. And they just take one, some of them, they take one look at their hair and say, nah, he look like he real racial boy. Or he look like he real uptight boy. No, don't get it twisted. I am a very genuine and loving person. Right? And towards every race. But you see the African race? I love that race more than any race in this country. Any race. So big up all yourself, brothers and sisters out there. Don't let people look down on all you. Right? Remember all of us kings and queens.
Well, sometimes when other people say it, all you just believe it. Brother, I love you too. You're too sweet. I love you too. Oh, and this is what Vijay Maharaj looks like. Who has no offense in using the word. And again, I would say, Mr. Vijay, I'm happy that you think like that. But don't think that is an endorsement that you all could call with the N word and then ball with a silly C word. Two different things. Where you going there, right? If all you like that, that is all your business. Yeah? Okay, let me continue. So, listen to Rambles, I must play a little Rambles without Rambles, and like I ain't have a show. Hey!
Did you know that between September 20th, 2020 and February 29th, 2024, Dr. Rowley made 19 official trips, and that cost his state $10,652,878.67. Did you know that there was a full news article on this as to where he went, how much the trips cost? And the reason why we knew is because the then opposition asked the then government, hey, how much are they spending? And the government was like, look the figure there. And the then opposition blew it up in the media. Look how much he's spending. I am raising that now because this current Prime Minister under this current UNC government seems to be playing hide and seek with the facts when it comes to how they are spending the taxpayers' money. Because they have been docking a Freedom of Information request for 6 months. They don't want to say where she's been, who she's been with, how much money she's spending. Mind you, this is taxpayers' money. This is not money coming out of her pocket. This is us paying for those trips. And we can't even know where she's going. But I think I have an idea why they are stalling to release the figures. It's probably some astronomical figure. Remember, they were here before, between 2010 and 2015. And they spent $250 million in just 5 years on trips for the cabinet. In fact, Kamala herself was racking up the bills. So I'm not surprised that they are refusing or stalling to release the numbers because they know it's some huge figures that we will have to question. And now they have an even bigger cabinet than when they were there before, and they're spending $250 million in 5 years. If you wanted this much privacy, you should just remain out of politics.
Yep. They want to tell we nothing. They want to tell where the money spending, them just spending and doing what they want. Listen also to this on next Rambles.
Reason 1 million why this is the most stupid government that have ever existed. They came up with the idea to put police posts across the country. I have no issue with that because quite frankly, you could never be too close to a police officer. Put them all over. One of the locations is the Etihad Savannah. Now you would think a right-thinking government would dot their I's and cross their T's. They will get their approvals, they will consult with local government, they will consult with the corporation, they will send out contracts for tender because this is what a responsible government does. That way, if anybody objects to that, You can now shame them and blast them because what are you objecting to? Law and order? Instead of doing that, in an effort to give their financiers as much money as quickly as possible, you know what these stupid people did? Didn't consult with local government, aka the corporation, didn't consult with anyone, didn't send out any contracts with tenders because it's taxpayers' money spending, didn't do any of that. They just decided we're building this and we're putting it there. And check Mr. Landmark TT himself. He couldn't even say whether the government did or did not get the relevant approvals before the work began. And it gets worse because then we had this next one here saying, well, there are other illegal structures that the corporation could focus on. Why they're focusing on this one? So you admit that you are circumventing the laws of the land. But there are other things you have to focus on. This is part of the governance, you know. Then you have the Prime Minister or whoever is controlling her behind the scenes and controlling her social media, putting out some long, stupid, nonsensical bullshit posts on social media. And on top of that, we are hearing now today that they built the police post on top a NGC gas pipeline. And I am just like, how stupid can one government be? All in the name of corruption, they have turned what's supposed to be a good gesture and a forward step into chaos. You all are the single dumbest government that have ever governed in the English-speaking Caribbean. Imagine you all are willing to put more effort into social media attacks and spin doctrine rather than just doing the right thing in the first place and putting that effort into that. All of that just to give you a financial shamrock and cement worth. Imagine we went from people calling for transparency to coming in here and we don't even know how our taxpayers' money is spending. It's just spending, and when you question it, they're questioning on social media. But I can't wait for it to go by. I really can't wait for it to go.
Yeah. And as somebody say, the word Jamet, when Dr. Rowley said Jamet behavior, whatever, they were so offended. When on the hot mic, it was so zammy. They're so offended. But the word COLLI, nobody offended. They're proud to use it now. I'm saying again, don't feel all they're saying that. So when all they want to call with the N word, or they say, well, all they does, we just call ourselves the C word, we go, we are going there. All they like, all they use of the word, all they in indentured laborers, unskilled laborers, okay. Is that term still used today in Asian countries, whatever? Okay. That's all they have here. Don't feel that is an excuse to come to call with the N word and say, well, everything is everything. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. Right? This is what I say when you vote, you realize you vote for the UNC. Long time I ain't played this.
When you voted for the UNC and realized you mess up.
Plenty people balling. They balling, they had a CPEP work, the money as small as it is, we used to get the money. Plenty have to send the children to school is unfortunate. Plenty are saying they shoulda, coulda, woulda. Voting has consequences, not voting has consequences also. Don't vote on emotion, vote on facts. Okay. So let me put up this here. As I said, today is World Steel Band Day, celebrated every August the 11th every year, and this is the genesis of that. Let me read an article and then I would play something. So this was in the Newsday, Sunday the 23rd of July 2023. Well, you know it had to be, it can't be recent because there's no longer Newsday newspapers. So on July the 21st, the UN, the United Nations, is expected to adopt a draft resolution for August 11th to be declared World Steel Band Day and be annually observed on the United Nations calendar. This comes as Trinbago gets set to celebrate Pan Month in August. Minister of Tourism, Culture and the Arts, Randall Mitchell, is expected to speak at the UN sitting in New York on July the 24th. He will lead a delegation that includes Trinbago President Beverly Ramsey Moore, Panis Ray Holman, and National Steel Symphony Orchestra representatives. The sit-in is part of the 77 UN General Assembly. The UN website says the General Assembly meets annually in regular session intensively from September to December and resumes in January until all issues on the agenda are addressed. The draft resolution is scheduled for action/adoption on that day, and Mitchell is expected to deliver a statement to introduce it. The draft resolution received co-sponsorship from 27 member states, and a document received by Sunday Newsday said TNT's permanent mission to the UN in New York is assiduously lobbying other member states to join the list of co-sponsors. The UN guidelines for the preparation, co-sponsorship, and submissions of proposals for consideration in the plenary of the General Assembly said a draft resolution or draft decision will remain open for co-sponsorship until the moment of adoption at a plenary meeting of the General Assembly. In June, that was 2023, In June, the permanent mission confirmed a concept note titled Designation of August 11th as World Steel Pan Day, and a draft resolution was submitted to the UN General Assembly for consideration on behalf of the government. An informal consultation was held with member states on June the 29th, in which overall support was expressed for the draft resolution, and there were no proposed amendments to the text, the document said. In this context, the draft resolution was formally submitted to the Secretariat for processing. You hear the word processing. Everything's a process. Due to its historical significance, the steel pan has created and cemented linkages to the arts, tourism, culture, education, as well as science, technology, and engineering sector. I want to put a plug here because that is what the Minister then of Culture, Tourism and Culture, Randall Mitchell, would have gone and stood before the Assembly and spoken about the linkages and the cementing of the steel pan to art, tourism, culture, education, as well as science, technology, and engineering. Also, Ms. Beverly Ramsmore, the president, so they would have put forward that case to show that although we would have created that the only musical instrument in the 20th century, I think, 20th century, created, of course, by people of African descent coming out of that struggle. Yes, it is a national instrument. However, it came out of our struggle, and we must not forget that. All of us enjoy it, all races, all ethnic groups, all over the world enjoy the steel pan, but we must never ever forget and never ever be too afraid to always mention the fact that yes, it was created by us people of African descent. No shame in that game at all. So let me continue. It has become a musical instrument with substantive cross-border recognition throughout the world, contributing to sustainable development, as the playing of the steel pan can positively impact on gender equality, mental health and well-being, youth empowerment, socioeconomic development, and sustainability, the document said. The steel pan market is a subset of the global music product sales market, which the business research company estimated in 2021 to be valued at US $13 billion. So you see how that document that was prepared by us here for then Minister of Tourism to go to argue about, you see how the steel pan was sold to the international community, it was sold to the UN. It's not just about going and play pan, go practice. It has deeper connectivity, deeper roots for the economy, for mental health, for in terms of let me get it, I want to say it properly. Tourism, arts, culture, education, science, technology, engineering, all those things are part of the pan fraternity. So we got the holiday, not holiday, we got the observance, and it's observance, it was observed all over the world. And for the first time, Google would have put up a doodle with the steel pan. Who don't know what a doodle is? I ain't able to explain no doodle, nothing, right? But know that we are out there, and we have been celebrating it since then. I want you all to listen to this. And it is ironic that I'm going to play you something that Vijay Maharaj, the son of the late Sat Maharaj, who is saying you don't have a problem with the uses of the word C-O-L-L-I-E. Listen to his father in an interview with Salol Kojo, who I just call Toby. From Roots here. That is just me. That is my opinion. So listen to this.
Sat, you're saying on the clip that one has a choice. Either like to beat pan,
yes,
or go and do medicine. No,
The illusion being that black people like to beat pan when you like to beat book. I think that's not true. But I've given you a specific example which says that although we have that sort of disparity in those who study medicine here, the same people who are not admitted to medical school here go to a foreign university and do very well. And the question is simply, why? I don't think the answer, I think it's a false choice about saying they like to beat pan or beat book. And I think it's a false choice and a false glorification that all we can do is beat pan, and then people who's a doctor, boy, them like to beat book and they're smart.
Yeah, that is how you put it.
But that's how
No, I said you have been trying to impose a musical instrument on the Indian community. They built a new school for us, and they have a whole big area. They call it the Pan Theatre. Who tell you I will open a Pan Theatre in Pinal? I want to open a harmonium theatre in Pinal.
But go and open a harmonium theatre.
That's right.
But
So I'll just change the name.
Let's take a break and we come back and continue.
Yeah, let's pull down the...
So you saw what the deceased Admiral said. He was in his right to do that. If you don't want what was created by the people of African descent played in the Indian schools, okay. But I wonder what he would have said had he been alive today when he saw this. And that there was Panorama Champions of 2023, School Panorama Champions, Naparima boys combined. And I remember I went down there to carry Panorama live on my thing, and I stood up and I taped them playing, and something in my mind, I said, them singing like them winning this thing. So it was sweet. And the band had about 97% people of children of Indian descent, and I felt so proud. So I don't know, probably them was beaten while other Indian train was studying. And if that is true, how they pass to Naparima? I'm just saying something. So be careful what we say. See, music transcends all ethnic groups, and we welcome it. We have Bobby Muhammad, his Panaranger, we had Jit Samaru, who carried Renegades to over and over and over and over and over championship. A hat trick one time, I think about 9 times he carried Renegades, whatever. Jit Samaru, yes, and he had a whole family steel pan. Yeah? So we don't go there with them. But we must always remember who, of course, would have created the pan. Nothing wrong in talking about that. Don't get no horrors with that, right? I also want to say, now, let me play this first because I want to do this thing. Today is World Steel Pan Day. We could always talk that the next day, so listen to this.
The announcement of the declaration of World Steel Pan Day was made on Friday through the United Nations Department of Global Communications by the spokesperson for the president of the 77th session of the General Assembly.
This is going to be followed by action on 2 resolutions. The first one would create a new international day. If approved, 11th of August would be observed as World Steel Pan Day. And a steel pan is a musical instrument that originates in Trinidad and Tobago.
Minister of Tourism, Culture and the Arts, Randall Mitchell, is expected to speak at the UN sitting in New York on July 24th. He will lead a delegation that includes Pan Trinbago President Beverly Ramsey Moore, Panist Ray Hallman, and a National Steel Symphony Orchestra representative. Minister Mitchell says he's honored to be given the opportunity to attend the UN's General Assembly to place before it a statement and a resolution to be adopted for the recognition of World Steel Pan Day. He says he expects the declaration of World Steel Pan Day will highlight the humble beginnings of the steel pan and of our forebears, the inventors and developers of steel pan, and throughout its development journey.
The steel pan as we know it is not just recognized for its sweet melodies or for standing side by side in world-renowned orchestras such as our very own the National Steel Symphony Orchestra, but it is also recognized as an undeniable symbol of positive socio-economic impact for communities, not just here in Trinidad and Tobago and in the Caribbean, but the world at large. It is recognized as an instrument that brings together society, brings together communities, while at the same time it presents economic opportunities for all the participants in the steel pan movement.
Pan Trinbago has declared August as Steel Pan Month and has scheduled a parade through the streets for Friday, August 11th. President of Pan Trinbago, Beverly Ramsey Moore, says the work to have August 11th declared World Steel Pan Day began in 2019, and she's certain that the resolution will be passed.
When you think of our instrument, our national musical instrument, that we said it came from behind the bridge, and now it is on a world stage where we have over 40 countries with steel band. And so I think that it is fitting for that day in particular, where the 11 represent 2 pan sticks, and the 8, of course, represents 2 notes in the pan, or we can say the double second pan. So it is fitting, and I really look forward to the celebration.
Cabinet in September 2022 approved that an approach be made to the United Nations to adopt a resolution that World Steel Pan Day be declared as August 11th, 2023, and annually thereafter placed on the United Nations calendar of World International Days. Karen Cozier-Phillip, TTT News.
Yeah, people, we celebrating August the 11th, World Steel Pan Day. This one is for the ancestors who started this whole journey. Listen to some.
Elie Manet in 2000 said, no one man, but many people contributed to it.
The steel pan was created in the 1930s. It was established in the context of carnival resistance. Its history tracing back to African slaves who were brought to the Caribbean in the 1700s.
Pan. And we have had different opinions of where it started, who started it, and so on.
Tonight, we tell you the story through Keith Simpson's eyes, a veteran panist and now the vice president of Pan Trinbago.
It came from the African drums, obviously, to the tambu bamboo. In between, the people obviously will take up for rhythm and play what they call polyrhythmic. They take a pan and you beat in any kind of rhythm. Or biscuit drum and you hit it, and then you push it back out and you hit it, and it will get some kind of tone.
Simpson said the first steel pan was called convex, but it didn't give much rhythm.
The person who sank the pan is Elie Manet and tuned the 55-gallon drum, because we are the chemical drums. So by chance, by burning the drums, burning the chemical out of the drums, they realized they could get a better tone.
However, he explained that during that time, it was not easy for panmen.
The police was them. The newspaper only give negative things. And even these steel bands around Christmas time playing Joy to the World and Angel We Have Heard on High in Calypso. Then people wrote the newspaper criticizing how they could take holy music and play in a Calypso temple.
Simpson recalled in 1939 the Alexander Ragtime Band was the first to parade the streets. And yes, it was named after the 1938 musical. Then from 1939 to 1945, during World War II, Carnival was cancelled. But after the war, it was back to the party.
When everybody came out after and we could say maybe 1945, 46 is when we had melodic pan really on the road.
In 1946, Winston Spree Simon played 4 tunes on a 14-note tenor pan for the governor, Sir Bede Clifford. Simpson said in the 1950s there was the emergence of many big bands, some that still exist today.
They were All Stars, and All Stars are the one that we would say introduced the bomb in 58. They used to practice up in the garage, up on the roof there. No one heard the tune because they practiced with the fingers and with a pencil.
It was also the decade when Anthony Williams of the Pan Am North Stars, put wheels on pan, also made the stands. The 1950s was also when pan music was first recorded on the road. It was in 1963 that the first Panorama was held. The winning prize was $1,000.
They were Whitco Desperados. Before that, they were Coca-Cola, I think, Desperados. And the first band to go Panorama with what we call a low boy, kind of tractor pulling it, and the pans on it. And they won Panorama.
Simpson said government then helped bands with funding. He said he was part of a band called Ambassadors, and that was when he met Dr. Eric Williams.
Somebody come on and say, Keith, the doc out there. I said, what doc you talking about? He said, the doc, Eric. He said, I am Dr. Eric Williams. I said, I know that very well, sir. Look at this list. Tell me any company you want to sponsor a band. I said, well, sir, I am working SLs. When we reached in front of the stage, we had Victoria Square. We just knocked beside the pan.
Pan bands participated again in 1980. He said this was the decade when many new arrangers emerged on the pan scene. It was also the decade of Panorama hat-tricks, as Renegades and Jit Samaru won from 1995 to 1997. And then Clive Bradley also had a hat-trick, but with 2 different bands. And in Tobago, Cats and Jammers won 3 medium band Panorama titles. He said, from then to now, pan music has seen a lot of improvement. From the steel pan being featured on Google Doodle to recognition from the United Nations. Simpson said he wished these pioneers could see how far the musical instrument has come. It's what they once fought for, ended up in jail over, and some even died for.
I'll be so grateful to them and let them know that from what they have done, they have taken the instrument to where it is.
Carissa Lee, CNC3 News.
Pan history there again. Tell you where Pan reach. I know Crocro had, I think it's Crocro has sing where Pan reach. I would like him to revisit that calypso now in this era and do, I wait eagerly to hear what he would say about where Pan reached, because it has reached. I'm sure it has further to go where it has reached. So Crocro's Madudu, you know, so I ain't criticizing, but I'm saying, people, let me get on to some politics here. So all who in the fridge, no, open the door, close the door, ever come and sit down and listen to this, you know, because let's see what's going on with the government of this country. Let's see that. All I could see that. All we could see. You see, hoping for the best kind of thing. I happy for people who keep hoping and who just say, we pray and everything will be all right. Pray without works. Pray without works is, yeah? So we see what we have, we see what's happening, and voting our consequences and all that, right? But there's also an opposition. That's supposed to be the keeping the government in check for all the citizens of this country, protecting our children, everybody, right? Something ain't right. I want to read this for you. Somebody sent this to me. It says, I write this tonight with a heavy heart. I have received some numerous calls and messages from supporters, friends, family, and even senior members of our party whose family members were in attendance at tonight's AGM about the attitude they received tonight, the embarrassment and disappointment they are to part of a failed, fallen party. These are the very same people who supported the One PNM party by filling 3 maxis to attend Thursday rally. The same people who volunteer and stand with all elected representatives of the constituency and answer the call whenever they are needed. But tonight, they are asking me a question. We're good enough to fill maxi for rallies, but we're not good enough to sit in a room and become members of the party. So now yellow will be the code. I'll read it, how I get it. I want to say something. Respect is important. It works both ways between the elders, the young ones, respect. Honor is also important, and gratefulness is also important. I want to ask Jelani Reid from the Train City Maloney constituency. The member of parliament is the Honorable, yes, I call her she Honorable, Camille Robinson Reggie. She has served well because in all election that she has been with the up at Train City Maloney, that was a different constituent before it finally is Train City Maloney, 20-something years, wherever. She has brought home that seat with over 11,000 votes. I want to ask Mr. Jelani Reid when he sit down in a quiet moment and he remember who helped him and others to achieve their academic certification, qualification, who was instrumental in helping him, Jelani Reid, to reach where he is today with DR in front of him. And if you understand what people say ungratefulness is worse than witchcraft, how could you, based on reports we get, and be so disrespectful to MP Camille Robinson Regis? How dare you, little boy? Yes, when are we children? How dare you disrespect the elders that way? If you have an issue, there's ways to treat it. And how come you're all up in woman business? What happened? You want to get some sanitary for that? What you doing up in Women's League business? It's named Women's League. Why you interfering by all accounts with what is supposed and was supposed to happen today up in Train City Maloney for the AGM of the Women's League to have the election? You're all up in it. It has come to my attention that the women of Train City Maloney come out in the numbers because they were being told you have to be part of a party group to vote. And you don't have to be a part of no party group. All you have to be is a woman, a constituent of Train City Maloney, and you pay all your party dues up to date. That's all was needed. But they were told, I understand, they have to be part of a party group. And plenty party group went to have the AGM, and it is alleged that that same individual, they went up there and caused bacchanal and confusion and mayhem. I know it's 15 people for quorum to have the election, whatever. I hear they tell them something about 20 and whatever. Has the constitution changed? I don't know, because I hear amendment make to the PSA, the PNM constitution, and people didn't have the amendment. So has it moved from 15 for a quorum to start a meeting for it to be official to 20-something or whatever the case may be? Why you all up in woman business? I understand now they want to move or has moved or will move the Women's League election for Train City Maloney down to Balize House. What are the kind of Balize House? So what the hell I hear in here? That the constituency is Train City Maloney, not Fabric Road, not Tranquility Street and Balize House. If the people have space to keep them meeting, why are you making them women and them have to leave Train City Maloney to come down in Port of Spain to have the AGM for it's a women's league? I understand that the information I get in. What happened as I say again? You want to be one of we? We're all up in we party business for. Then I hear in Tanapuna, Tim Bacchanal. Or they're trying to create some kind of shift for something in the East-West corridor? Why will they don't let the processes, just as how will they want the government to follow processes? Why will they not let the processes of the People's National Movement work? Why are you trying to intimidate and encourage and create bacchanal couture? Why are you doing that? Let people be free to vote for who they want to vote for. Why, Mr. Jelani Reid, you're getting all up in the woman and them business? Why it is only preventing people from coming to vote in the party group AGM? All they tell them is $40. And when they go down to pay the $40 by the house, they hear it's $130. And when they contact whoever, it is alleged you say you make a mistake. How the hell you can make a mistake and you know that? Why it is only trying? All you know, people are working. Plenty people lost their work. Everybody scrambled up, get their money because they want to be a part of the movement and only discouraging them. And Mr. Jelani Reid, me even putting doctor in front because you ain't carrying on like a professional. You're not carrying on like a professional based on the things I hear about you. And again, asking why you up in woman business? It's women's league, not men's league. Why are they putting, is it because all they fighting down Miss Camille Robinson Rager because all they want that seat? Because that safe seat? Because it's sure, all they going to have thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of vote. Listen to me now, they get all the act together now. Get all the act together. Is everybody, last time somewhere up in Miaro, they had to come out and have big protest because all they want, I don't know who is the audio, but whoever went up there to think the meeting and want to take over the people, AGM and all kind of bacchanal, tell the people how to make life outside and all kind. What are they doing them thing for? What are they doing them thing for? Eh? Mr. Jelani, your name calling and everything. So I want to know if I had to bring a bag and have a parcel of or a pack of. Laura, let me call the name of the thing, eh? Come out of the woman and them business. Let the women's league and them have the AGM and vote who the hell they want in. It's in a man league. All right, so they form a man league and they have meeting. Left the woman and them alone to do what they have to do. They're competent and they're able. Leave Train City Maloney alone to do what they need to do rightfully. You want to be the next MP to go up for the area? You want to be the candidate? Eh? You're disrespecting the MP. Listen to me. We ancestors don't be kind to them kind of thing, you know. They don't be kind, you know. Your name calling and everything. It's your name, Jelani. That's why I call them, because people are calling your name, Jelani Reid. I don't know who you is. Me, I even know who you is. But everywhere you turn, you're hearing Jelani Reid. What are you doing that for? What are you doing that? And all they say, they love the PNM. All they love this PNM, boy. And all they want to call me haters, all these real haters. If all of us lovers of the PNM, all they wouldn't be doing the things that's happening and doing there. Why all that was to call emergency general counsel and go with one set of lies on the MP. And go with one set of lies and misinformation that the general counsel, like they take that chain up and study over all they come and say, what are they doing them things for? Eh? But I want to read something. Power taken by betrayal spends the time waiting to be betrayed. There is no wonder why they are so scared of the people they betrayed. Let me read it again. Power taken by betrayal spends its time waiting to be betrayed. There is no wonder why they are so scared of the people that they betrayed. Is that what's going on, Mr. Jelani Reid? Because we know how the opposition leader became the opposition leader. We know that. And we have conversation all around when the situation in Tobago happened and all they come Trinidad River, what some all they was doing and going around and telling people not to vote for the PNM. It's are people who say they have recordings of people calling them and all that. It's not saying nobody called me because nobody couldn't tell me not to go out and vote for the party. Nobody couldn't tell me because I don't make joke with voting because I know, you see, universal suffrage. All the women who went out before my time, my ancestors have fight to make sure women could vote, because there was a time women couldn't vote. There was a time people, if they didn't have property until you couldn't vote. And people would have gone out and fought for us to have that right. I don't take that lightly. So again, I asked Jelani Reid, why you up in woman business? You want to be a woman? Asking a question, why you up there? Leave Train City Maloney to have the election in Train City Maloney to have enough buildings for them to do that. Would they have to come down by the house for? They want to intimidate them? Why are they doing that? Are they not serious? Are they really are they not serious? And I want to also say this. If honesty threatens the room isn't healthy. So all they're not creating healthy spaces is a toxic kind of thing, like it's happening with this PNM now. It's a toxic kind of thing happening because you're in here and it's young people. All you feel is only the 60, 70, and 80-year-old can make PNM win any election. All you really feel, sir? All them running the young people, they're getting disenchanted because all they're operating not in honesty, and go and tell them I say so. All they don't want the best for this country. Who don't like to hear what I'm saying? I don't give a flying whatever, but I appreciate you all and I love you all at the end of the day. But this is my show. And what you're hearing is not right, because this guy, this Jelani Reid, is a young person. And you expect so much of young people. But what you expect also is respect. And it is alleged you continue to disrespect the MP Camille Robinson Regis. Who? It wasn't for her. You couldn't have DR in front of him. In fact, it is alleged. When everybody else finished them studies, whatever, you had must to go back for about 2-3 years, whatever, because you was going in thing where had nothing to do with you instead of studying. So like you like to study people business. Because you have finished when others finished the doctorate and the doctor this and whatever, or medical school, whatever, you still had was to continue because you was caught up in all kind of other things than studies. And today you had the hour in front of him, and instead of your studies, to go and work in a hospital, work somewhere, and to save lives and to see about the sick and whatever it is, you're all up in woman business. What are you really doing in this PNM, boy? Or they're going all over, it is alleged, to try to make party group not have the AGM and to install all their own people and all kind of things. Let me tell you something. This is different times. This is not the long time thing. The PNM has to change. The foundation is strong, but windows have to come out, door have to come out, roof have to come out, ceiling have to come out, new lighting fittings, because after a while a building does need to be revamped. But the foundation solid as a rock. But there had to be changes to treat with the new era. The Gen Zs and the millennials and all they have to change to treat with that. They can't be like the 50s and 60s. That was the time for that PNM. And the 80s was that time for PNM. And the 90s was that time for PNM. And the early 20s was that time for PNM. Now going into the next decade, it have to have a change of thinking, a change of mind, and a new movement to take we forward. All they studying the 18 to 45-year-old voters, all who 15 today by 2013 they could vote, all who 17 today by 2030 they could vote, all who 19 and then vote before they could vote, all who last year was 17 years old and couldn't vote, they could vote. All they studying those voters, all they only studying the ones they could put in Maxi to bring down the road and who like me and all them kind of thing, who will go out and vote because we know the best party, the PNM. All they studying real things. Anyway, Mr. Jelani Reid, your name calling in too much woman business. Stop it. It's time for a new chapter in this PNM. It's time for a new chapter. Time for a new chapter in this PNM.
Believe in us. Tonight I come before you, asking you for the honor, asking you for the opportunity to fight for Trinidad and Tobago on your behalf and on your children's behalf to make sure that Trinidad and Tobago not only survives but thrives. And I am warning us not to be fooled again. We saw it in 1986 with a coalition government. We saw it in 2010, and they are offering it again in 2025. So you need to decide who is best placed to manage our country, who is best placed to manage our energy sector and ensure a future for our little children that you've seen here tonight. Because what we're seeking to do is take Trinidad and Tobago forward. We're going to write a new chapter with your help. But the only way we can do this is to do it together. You will see at the start, our intention is to leave no one behind. To look after our senior citizens, our children, our youth. Give us the opportunity to work with you and for you to write the new chapter.
I hope that Tracy Maloney, the Women's League, were able to have the AGM and voting who they want. I really hope so. I really hope this thing ain't going down to no Balize house and all them kind of thing. That is unfair. I hope that they were able to carry the AGM in peace without any man interfering in that. I hope so. We have to look for a new chapter. We ain't ever with this thing, boy. We ain't ever with this kind of stupidness we're going on in PNM, boy. It's time.
Stuart Young, them one. Stuart Young, them one. Stuart Young, them one. Your PNM.
So I want to thank everyone, the thousands and thousands of people who have sent messages of support, messages asking that we continue. I want to thank Trinidad and Tobago for a very peaceful democratic process in the general election once again. We did our best. I know I did my best, and I look forward to representing my constituency, Port of Spain North, St. Anne's West, with everything that I have over the next 5 years. Furthermore, I will continue to fight for Trinidad and Tobago. And I ask everybody, continue to support Young's Army. Young's Army!
Is that?
I don't tell already that I'm a member of parliament, you know. That is why I give my support. Who don't like it could bite it. You see this wrongs? Listen. It's a year and how much months now we know Ting knew everybody UNC from day one the UNC start. UNC waiting to catch a breath and Ting whatever. Them settling and they start one time. You tell me the PNM still waiting to settle in, and what happened is the first time PNM in opposition? Yeah? If they say you could do the work, but we're not saying that. So it's time for something new because this can't continue. People can't have the AGM in peace. All kind of thing happening in PNM, nobody know what's going on, nothing. Listen, what is really going on in truth, boy? New chapter, yes, boy, a new chapter. A new chapter.
Priority number 3, a nation of learners, leaders, and innovators. This is education for the real world, where children learn how to code, to budget, and to build a better tomorrow, starting today.
It's body future, body children, boy. It's them we have to capture that age, let them understand the importance of a PNM, importance of what PNM meant to this country. This PNM might have been doing them kind of thing. Everybody just chooks and frustrated and all. What was that one by? Look at somebody work my MPLA's in his constituency.
Well, the name of the community organization is Freetown Sports Group. It is a sports development company that provides opportunity to young student athletes. And over the past few years, Stuart has always been at the forefront of the program, supporting financially and in person physically. And that's one thing I always appreciate, you know, forget the politics, forget whatever it may be. within the constituency as well. He has assisted us with our water problems. He has assisted us with a lot of other logistical problems that we have been having over the past few years. So I say all that to say that he has been present. He has been present in all of the youth programs that I have been present in. And from the interaction through those experiences, youth development is at the forefront of what he is about. It may seem like a small thing, but to us who are usually neglected, it said a lot, and based off of that, it was to me an indication of what could be possible.
If all you're not serious, people vote and put all your day and all kind of thing, and all you're not serious, all you move aside the serious people, take over the damn party the rightful way, and get PNM back up and running, get all the organs up and running proper. If all you're not serious, all you lowy and left we now, boy. Let people who serious run this thing right now, boy. The country hurting, boy. The country suffering, boy, and all you playing all kind of stupid games for your personal aggrandizement and thing, boy. All you care about the CPEP workers, all you see when a woman cry and say, as small as it is, he said, get a money short from CPEP. All you see the man who sit around and say, you have to pay 2 trillion authority. Anything about going and buy poison and drink, all you sing them thing our buy. All you only studying all yourself alone. Why people serious out here and people want a PNM out here who can do something to help, and all you on games by. When all you not up in woman business, all you want to stop AGM, all kind of thing, all you come in and talk the truth to the General Council, so the General Council could be more informed. All you haters, boy. I call in all your haters from today. All you can never love PNM. We on the outside to crying and talking, we love PNM more than all your boy. Well, let us just leave we alone. All you wicked. All you worse than UNC, boy. At least you know what UNC give. All you pretend to the people. All you pretend to them. And they vote for them internals. And what again we know? Nothing. All you wicked and evil, boy. I say so. That wickedness. People out here suffering things hard, whatever, and we're dependent on our PNM to come back and fix this thing, boy. And all you on games. All you on games, all you eating and drinking. Nice all kind of people out here can't send their children to school for September. People have money to buy food. And all you on games, boy. All you wicked children read what is wrong with all you don't know God or what. Look now. Look, let me, hey, all you go ahead with all your foolishness. This is not about all you, the picture bigger than all you. Wherever all you feel all you gonna get now, wherever the case may be, if it continues, all you gonna end up in getting nothing, because it ain't gonna have nothing. People, have a blessed night. I love you all. All who remain and stay on. All who like what I'm saying. I can't help all you with that. Because me ain't lying on nobody. Me ain't maligning nobody. Me ain't disrespecting nobody. I talking from my heart. I talking from when I talk to people when I out there. I was involved in labor, so I know a lot of people. And once you say labor and they say how no work, you know the problems. I know a lot of young people. I involved in dance, I involved in drama. I'm a certified mediator. I know we're going through. I might know we're going down in South. I might know we're going on in Rima. But I know we're going on around. Because at the end of the day, a human being in Port of Spain is a human being in San Fernando. Is a human being in Arima, Toko, Grande, Princess Tong, Maruga is a human. whether Indian, African, or as a human who going through problems and looking for something, and the PNM have not now. Or let's talk the truth and tell people the truth now. This central executive running the PNM to nothing by. You all have a blessed night. I love you all. And again, remember, World Steel Pan Day. And as we leave, director, I want you to put up the fun clear for me pan by storm. Remember, arranger, like his name ain't even coming to me right now. Professor Ken Fillmore, who would have passed. Remember him and his greatness. Pan by storm. Director, could you please play?
Bye.